So you were probably told your whole life, right? Get good grades, get straight A's, and you'll get rich. But does that actually work out in the real world? Let's talk about it.
It's kind of crazy when you think about it, isn't it? The very skills that make you an A-plus student, following the rules, memorizing everything, playing it safe, those are often the exact things that can absolutely crush you as an investor. School teaches you how to be a fantastic employee, but it totally fails to teach you how to be a great owner. That academic mindset, it can become a huge liability in the world of real estate. And this right here, this is the result. A whopping 90% of new landlords, they fail. Most of them within just their first few years. They've got the fancy degrees, but they are totally missing that real-world financial IQ. They're trying to use classroom formulas on street-smart problems, and, well, it's a disaster. And look, that's exactly why we're here. Welcome to Ditta Finance. We're all about giving you the real-world financial education you definitely didn't get in school. So in this explainer, we're going to break down the 3 huge mistakes that trap 90% of landlords, and more importantly, we're going to show you the mindset shift you need to make to join that top 10% who actually build serious wealth. All right, let's get right into it. Mistake number 1. And honestly, this might be the most common one I see. I call it the pretty house trap, and it all comes down to emotional investing.
Okay, so here's the massive difference in thinking. The 90%, they buy a house because they like it. They walk in and go, oh, I love these countertops. I could totally live here. That's your heart talking, not your wallet. The top 10%, they couldn't care less. They buy based on cold, hard numbers. They're looking at the cap rate, that's your annual return, and the cash-on-cash return. They want to know how fast their invested cash comes back to them. Honestly, they don't give a rip about the new paint job as long as the numbers look beautiful. You got to remember, you're not buying a home, you're buying a money-making asset. Okay. On to the next big pitfall. Mistake number 2, the profit illusion. This is where so many landlords get wiped out because they completely forget about 2 sneaky but massive costs: Capex and vacancy. So check this out. This is how that profit you think you have just vanishes. Let's say you're pulling in $2,000 a month in rent. Nice. Your mortgage, taxes, insurance, all that comes to $1,600. So you're left with $400. You're thinking, hey, I'm cash flowing. But then, bam, the unexpected happens. Except it's not really unexpected, is it? A leaky roof is going to happen eventually. That's a $5,000 bill. All of a sudden, your entire year's profit is gone and you're actually losing money. This is what blindsides most people. The pros? They plan for this. They're setting aside a piece of that rent every single month. No excuses, just for these big ticket repairs. And that brings us to the final mistake that keeps landlords broke. And boy, is it a big one. It's the DIY trap. You know the thinking, I'll just save some money and do it all myself. Whether that's fixing a toilet at 2 a.m. or showing the unit every weekend. So this really boils down to understanding the difference between what we'll call school logic and rich logic. School logic tells you, hey, why pay a plumber $100 when I can spend 3 hours on YouTube and do it myself? But rich logic asks a totally different and way smarter question. Okay, my time is worth $500 an hour finding the next great deal. So why on earth am I wasting it on a $20 an hour task? Look, if you're the one swinging the hammer and unclogging the drains, you don't own a business. You just bought yourself a really, really terrible second job. So with all that said, how do you actually break out of these traps and get into that top 10%? Well, it's not about working harder, it's about thinking smarter. It's a fundamental shift, really. You have to go from being the student who just follows the instructions to being the strategist who designs the whole game. So let's just quickly recap the core principles of that 10% mindset. You gotta have these down. Number 1, treat your real estate like a business, not a side hobby. Number 2, buy the numbers, not your feelings. You're buying a spreadsheet, not a dream home. 3, you have to anticipate costs, not just react to them when they punch you in the face. And finally, and this is huge, you have to value your time more than your money. That right there, that's the shift that separates the people who build wealth from the people who just stay busy. Okay, now I want you to be honest with yourself for a second. As you're listening to this, which of these 3 mistakes have you either made or maybe you've been tempted to make? Was it the pretty house trap, the profit illusion, or getting stuck in that DIY trap? Go ahead and drop it in the comments below. Seriously, sharing this stuff is how we all get better. You see, at the end of the day, school didn't make you rich because it trained you to be an employee, a specialist, not a strategist, not an owner.
If this explainer opened your eyes a bit and you want to keep getting this kind of real-world financial education, do us a huge favor. Make sure you like this, share it, and definitely subscribe to Ditta Finance so you don't miss out on what we've got coming next. Thanks so much for watching.